Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and to today's video. This is the next video in my Eyes on Nature series. It's kind of a newer series to my channel. I don't have a lot of videos in there yet, but it's basically where I take inspiration from something in nature. Maybe it's a picture of scenery, maybe it's an animal. Today I'm inspired by the beautiful blue jay bird, which is a lovely wintry sort of bird, and I'm using all of these palettes to create this eyeshadow look. So if you'd like to see how I did it, then don't go anywhere. I'll list below in the comments all the things that I'm using, as I usually do. But today I want to put on some blush first. I got the Unearthly Cosmetics Spring Magic Blush Palette the other day. I got it off Poshmark. Was it Poshmark? Might have been MERCARI. Don't remember. I got it secondhand for $8. I think it sells for $32. I was a little unsure about getting this palette because I don't usually use a glowy blush. I prefer a matte blush and then a glowy highlighter, obviously. But each of the reviews that I saw for this palette said that it was a very buildable and not too glowy formula. And when I saw people wearing it, I thought, oh, that's pretty. I was a bit underwhelmed when I first got it in the mail because it seems like everything's kind of hard pan. Maybe it's pushed a little bit too, like pressed a little too firmly into the palette. I'm not sure. I have used it a couple of times. Today is the first day that I'm going to use it with actual full natural lighting on my face. The other times have been kind of in less than ideal lighting. Let me get myself together here, and I think that I'm gonna I think I'm gonna go with this pink one here. It's called Familiar. I just washed all my brushes, so it does seem to be picking up. I mean, it's there. It's definitely there, but it's not crazy pigmented, which I prefer. So even though it felt like maybe it was kind of hard in the pan when I physically swatched it with my fingers, I think as far as using it, it's probably a good formula for me. I mean, I love unearthly shadows, so I figured I would probably enjoy the blush. It is definitely buildable. I mean, I do see it. I also have some Christmas lights coming at me from over here, so that's making things feel a little, there we go. That's making things feel a little bit more yellowy on that side of my face, just a bit, just a smidge, but it's enough to throw me off. So for today's look, I'm using Winter Wonderland from Cosmic Beauty, as I said before, BH Cosmetics Blueberry Muffin, and I have the Blessed palette from Sydney Grace and Glitzy Fritzy. And then I'll be using my graphic liner palette from Artitude Cosmetics. It's water activated. Show it to you. This one right here is my plan, just to use the blue, and I'll definitely be doing a black eyeliner as well because I'm trying to in some way mimic the wings. I'm not very good at eyeliner, so give me some grace. But let's go. So I think we'll start off with this shade Icicle from Winter Wonderland. I think I'll take Icicle, and I'm just gonna put this through the whole crease area. The bird is beautiful. My inspiration picture I'll put up in the screen, and it is just a beautiful bird. It's not just blue and white. The blue tones are a variety, really. It's a couple different shades of blue with different undertones. Sometimes it leans a little bit more gray blue. Sometimes there's a whisper of navy, and then other times you get a bright pop, like a springtime sky. Not a wintry sky, a springtime sky. And yet it's all still blue, and then it's got beautiful white texture and tone, and also some black. So I have a very specific plan for today, and I'm hoping that my skills will allow me to complete it in a wearable way. Okay, so I want to deepen the outer corner per usual, and I'm not entirely sure which way I want to go. I was thinking initially of using these two shades here, but I'm remembering that the inspiration picture, the depth of the blue on the bird seems to lean quite smoky, like almost mixed with gray. And so I'm thinking, what if I go in really lightly with these two? Just to get the depth of blue for the look, but also gray it out a little bit. I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna take a bit of a tighter blending brush. It's still kind of fluffy, but it's a little tighter. And I'm gonna dip into, I think I'll take one dip into Treat, one into So Good, and then one back into Treat. And I'm just gonna build this gently right out here because I want it to stay smoky. Okay, so that's So Good. And now I want to bring in some more gray. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, great. No more blue. I'll buff off my brush. I have a napkin on my lap and I'm dipping back into the gray. Treat. I'm definitely going to be going for a wing shape here. No pun intended, but that's why. Back into treat again. I really want to gray this out. Like have a foundational blue and then bring in this wintry blue gray. What are some of your favorite animals that you see in the winter time? I definitely notice birds. Can I say more? I think in the springtime, the birds that I notice are just, I notice their singing, I notice their presence. They fly around in enormous groups. Maybe they're all picking at the ground in a field, or maybe they're all sitting up on the telephone wires and they're just very visible. But in the wintertime, I think I notice birds in a different way because it's cold and barren outside. It feels like things outside are kind of dead. And when you see a spark of life in a squirrel or a bird or a chipmunk or, I don't know, something just wandering through your yard, it's a little bit of a pleasure. All right, I think that is looking good. I'm happy I added in that gray. That made a big difference. Now I'm going to go into the white matte. I'll pick this up with yet a denser and stubbier blending brush. Popnongi. If you don't know the reference, then you should go watch Glitzy Fritzy's video when she announced this collaboration with Sydney Grace. I don't remember what the word was. It might have been popcorn, but if I recall correctly, Popnongi was the way that one of her kids mispronounced something and it kind of just stuck. All right, now I feel like the blue is getting lost. And it is a blue jay after all, but these mattes, Sydney Grace mattes, are so friggin' good. I need to go back into blue. This time I'm gonna pick up Cheat Day from Blueberry Muffin. And So Good as well. Just need to, it got buried a bit, and I think particularly because I'd mixed the blue with the gray, when I then added the white, it made everything even more of a pastel hint. So I'm bringing blue back in to wake it up a little bit. I am glad that I did the blue-gray, but now I need to layer in more blue. It is now time to swatch the shimmers. I'm taking Sugared from Blueberry Muffin. Oh, do you know how old this palette is? It's still so good. And I'm taking Wonderland from Wonderland. Okay. They're both super pretty. And I think Wonderland would make for a slightly more interesting finish, but this one is more on theme. So let's do this one. I'm gonna start in kind of the center of the lid. I might just do the center. I might not bring it all the way to the inner corner. And now for the lower lash line, I will pick up Fresh Air from Wonderland. It's this one here. Winter Wonderland. Sometimes I forget that the word winter is part of the name of the palette. I'm sorry if I'm blocking you guys. I'm going to put that on the whole lower lash line. This is now that bright springtime sky blue that we see on the wings of the bird when his wings are folded down. We definitely see a bright pop like that. So it's just an interesting collection of different undertones. Now, here's a plan. I need to make sure this space is clear. I want to do something like a negative wing. I'm not very good at wings, but I thought it'd be fun to try. So with a flat angled brush, I'm continuing with Fresh Air, but what I'm going to do is on the lower lash line, it'll be a reverse cat eye, which is a wing that starts on the lower lash line and just goes straight up. So here's Fresh Air. Forgive me for not talking when I do this. And now just for fun, because it's pretty, I'll take the shade Wonderland from the Winter Wonderland palette on the tip of my finger and just pop it there. Just at the inner corner. Yeah, okay. Now I'm gonna get a black eyeliner and create some of the black details on the bird. That's gonna be my wing shape above the reverse cat eye that I just did. But I'll tell you a funny story. This is actually my Lift and Snatch brow pen. One day I don't have my glasses on and I'm not wearing contacts. Most of the time I don't. So one day I was wanting to do black eyeliner and I grabbed this and did it, and then I realized that this is actually a brow pen, but it works. I think the biggest difference is that it's maybe not as opaque, but it has this amazing tip and it's just so easy to do. I mean, yeah, you can do brow hairs. But you can also do a winged eyeliner. So I'll use this today. I want to leave what would be considered negative space between the lower lash line wing and the upper. I don't know how close I'm gonna get. And also that space has a little bit of shadow in it. Hold that thought. Need to blend a bit more there. That space isn't so much negative space because it has some shadow. That's just because it's a little bit messy and I haven't cleaned it up. And I'm not going to clean it up, but it'll be fine. This pen also is not quite as thick or quick drying of a formula as a proper eyeliner, so it might bleed a little bit. I could do this exact thing with my graphic liner palette, but I don't know. This time I decided not to. But I think that's pretty. It's not perfect, but it's pretty. So for the graphic liner, I've just got a little dropper and I'm dipping into the bright blue. I have a tiny paintbrush that I may have gotten at a craft store. I don't know. And this is why I don't feel as confident with graphic liner. It's because I don't have really good brushes for it. I tried a nail art brush and it was just so long. The bristles were so long, I felt I had no control. It would have been great for just lining the lash line itself, but for doing anything specific, I felt out of control. Okay, so now with this is the blue. I'm gonna put some blue dots over here. Now, because if you look at the bird's wing, it's got little speckles. Like, it's got kind of, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, it's got bands of color and then a couple little spots. So that's what I'm mimicking here. So I'll put a few spots. And now I'm gonna go into the white in the water activated palette and do the same thing except on the inner corner to work with the white shadow. My brush is terrible. The bristles are all splaying apart. I guess it kind of works-ish for today. But not ideal. Anyway, that's the gist of the eye look. I will go off camera and try to make the other side match as well as I possibly can, and then I'll be right back to show you guys how it looks all said and done. Well, the look is all done. This is how it turned out. I put white in my waterline. It felt like it was just a natural fit. You guys already saw me put on the blush, and then for the rest of my makeup today, I've got the Italia Deluxe liner in the shade 1042 Dusty Rose, topped with the ColourPop Paper Pansy Lip Oil, and that's it actually, just mascara. And that's it. So as far as the graphic liner, I did an extra white dot on the inner part of the eye, which I matched over here. And then I also took the blue and I kind of put it between the two wings in that negative space. And I think it's pretty. I think I did a good job capturing the beautiful blue jay bird. I think I did a good job figuring out the colors, the undertones, some smoky, dirtier tones of blue, some really bright, springy pops of blue, some texture, the wings themselves with the winged eyeliner, especially because it was black. And again, top of my head, I think the bird had kind of a black collar sort of effect around its neck, and so that's what I was trying to recreate as well with the black. A little bit of sparkle here, which is not quite a white or a silver, it's a bit in the middle, but that I think adds a lovely little pop to the look. And then a little bit of sparkle on the lid space, but it's not covering all of the mattes completely. I think it's pretty. I think it's really pretty. I would love to hear what your thoughts are, of course. Do remember to check the description box because I'll have my Eyes on Nature playlist down there. There are not many videos. This might be the third one. Anyway, I'd love to hear, of course, what you thought of today's eyeshadow look. And as I said earlier, I really wanted it to be something that was clearly inspired by, but also very wearable. I mean, I have to go out later today, so I didn't want to be fully, you know, I didn't want to paint a bird on my face, but I wanted it to be something that was still creative and every day for me. It might not be every day for everybody, but for me, this is just a pretty and fun and interesting eye look. I think I definitely met my goal. This is exactly how I expected and planned on creating the look, so I didn't encounter any problems. I do need a nicer brush for my graphic eyeliner because that one's all splayed out and does not give me clean lines. But it's time for me to go on with my day. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you've enjoyed this video and today's eyeshadow look. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I look forward to sharing more videos, more looks with you guys, chatting with you in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.